There we go. Good. Good. Relax. Relax.
You good, Joe? Good. Good.
Are you with us? You know where you're at?
Fight ender number 3.
Let's go on to 2 more of my favorite chokes. These are called naked chokes. We don't have to use the clothing. Just in case the person has no shirt on, we've torn the shirt off in a fight, we're choosing to finish this person off with one of our chokes. So the first is called a clasping choke or naked choke. So I'm going to have Joel sit down on the ground. The clasping choke works with the blade of my arm. I'm going to insert the blade of my arm across the neck, palm up, blade of the arm comes across, clasp my own hands, head beside his head, and right now we're just going to look for the tap. You okay? Okay. Don't want to smash anything in there. It's a very painful choke. It does a lot of damage to the Adam's apple and to the airway. So we want to be very careful practicing this with anybody. Again, palm of hand on the shoulder, inserting, blade of the wrist across the neck, clasping my hand, and squeezing straight back. And again, in real life, no reason for the tap out. We're going to take him until he's unconscious. Next choke, we're going to take the naked choke and modify that. Instead of attacking the Adam's apple and crushing that, we want to actually cut off the carotid arteries. We're going to attack both of the carotid arteries. When we cut those off, all the blood and oxygen goes off to the brain. We're going to turn the lights out on this individual.
Hey, it's Jimbo here to tell you about our free YouTube product giveaway program. Every month, we give away a very cool product like our Guardian Sword or our Scout Outdoorsman's Knife, our Eagle Hawk with wall mounting kit, the Rugged Lone Star, our Fearsome Battle Axe, bulletproof bug out bag, level 3 steel body armor and plate carrier, or an awesome pocket knife like our Bull Shark blade, the Eagle Damascus knife, just to name a few. There's more, a lot more. Signing up is free, no membership fee. Get to the link in the description and see what we're giving away this month.
So to modify this naked choke or a clasping choke, palm of the hand up, insert. Now we're going to shoot the lower hand through, grab our own bicep, put it behind the head. As we push forward and pull back, we're going to squeeze our biceps and forearms to constrict the space and cut off the arteries. Okay? We'll do it until tap out. Taps out. You okay? Okay. These chokes are done from behind. We don't want to be flipped. We don't want to be thrown to the ground if the person is a judo wrestler person. We don't want to be taken over the back. So what we're going to do is sneak in, pull back on the individual, take him off balance. At this time, we're going to show you how to apply a choke to the point of knockout. We're going to go for a real knockout. I'm going to bring my team in behind me. Everybody's going to come in. What can happen in a knockout, we want to show you this because what's going to happen, a lot of times in a knockout, person loses all function. They lose consciousness. They suffer immediate amnesia. More than likely, Joel is not going to remember what just happened. But we're going to go for a real knockout. Once I've knocked him out, I'm going to revive him. I don't want to keep him out too long. Most people that you knock out stay unconscious for about 3 to 5 seconds. If you hang on to the neck in these positions, again, we can kill the individual. We're not looking to kill the individual. We're strictly looking to immediately stop the fight, move on. We may have more opponents to deal with. We don't want to be stuck with one individual too long. So again, no stuntmen, no tricks. We're going to go for a real knockout. Very few people have ever seen a person really unconscious or go unconscious from a choke. We're going to make this as comfortable as possible for Joel. Chokes don't have to be painful, but we're going to apply it so you can see the reaction of a real choke. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Modified naked choke. I'm going to be signaled when he goes unconscious if I can't see it with his body motion. Okay. There we go, Scott. Relax, relax.
You good, Joe? Good.
Are you with us? You know where you're at? Okay. Excellent. Good. Okay, we're going to have him taken off stage. You guys go ahead and help him out. He's not going to be good for a while. Excellent. Thank you. Watch him off stage. Joanna, you're going to stay out here. Okay. So what we see in the choke, what happens is once we knock an individual out, looks like they're going to sleep. In reality, Joel's going to have a hard time figuring out where he's at right now. So we're going to give him a chance to gain his bearing again.
Fight ender number 2.
Now moving along to tool number 6, we have the headbutt.
The headbutt is not like you see in the movies. You're not butting head to head like two elephant seals. The headbutt is the top of your head to your opponent's face. And at this point, I want to just reiterate one more time why Bruce stressed these particular tools, why he stressed this particular range. Could you imagine punching a 6'5" large man in the face and getting some kind of reaction? It just doesn't work, especially if he's bent on your destruction. But if you slam the top of your head into his face, then your knee into his groin, that sort of makes size and strength moot. And this is what we're trying to do. So again, with the headbutt, it's the top of your head to the opponent's face. When you practice, you can't practice like this because you're looking at what you're doing. So it can't be the top of your head. So you have to put your chin down to your chest and use your legs to headbutt with. It's almost like you're a bull and you're bucking at the opponent's face. And when you have the opponent in front of you, you're actually going to be grabbing the back of his neck and pulling his face into the top of your head. For a smaller man to do this on a larger man is conceivable. For a smaller man to punch a larger man is not. That's why they have weight divisions. So when we train with a partner, okay, Rich? Basically what we want to do with a partner is just get the feel of training. So you have to tell your partner right away to tighten up his neck first. If he tightens up his neck so there's no chance of colliding. When he's tightening up his neck, boom, that's what you're doing. Slowly, boom, this is the headbutt. I am taking my head, and I'm going to pull it over the shoulder just so you can see the velocity. I'm taking my hands and I'm pulling his head. This would be into my face, but it's over the top of the shoulder. Now you tell your person, stiffen up the neck, and then boom, you do it right there. And we're not trying to put the tools together quite now, but if we were, boom, it would look something like that. That's when you start putting them together. That'll be later on in the tape. So, again, just to reiterate, you bend the knees, put your chin down, and you're pulling your opponent's face to your head. Now, moving along to the headbutt. I've never really seen any good equipment on the headbutt, so what we like to use is the motorcycle helmet. Again, you're going to see us do this in scenarios in which you get to see combinations. Okay? But for now, the purpose of the equipment training is to get you to feel some sort of substance behind what you're hitting, as opposed to just doing it in the air. So this is sort of the next stage onto the progression of finally getting you combative. You have to understand that things have to be developed in a progression. Okay, Rich? So all I'm really going to have Rich do in this particular take is just have him stand in front of me, and I'm going to get a feel for the headbutt. All I'm going to do is just kind of get that feel, change it from different angles, and see the feel that I have. If it's a knee here, or boom, and then I combine it with the headbutt. So I just want you to know and feel what part of the head you're hitting with. It looks a little dangerous in the beginning. You might say, well, geez, doesn't that hurt your head? But it doesn't hurt your head as much as what it does to his face, and that's what we're looking at, is that ratio. So let's give it a try.
Don't forget to sign up for our monthly free product giveaway program. Signing up is free. There's lots of cool stuff, from swords to knives to bulletproof vests and a lot more. Just get to the link in the description. See you over there. Back to our video.
Fight ender number 1.
A lot of guys, they don't like to get hit. When they see you balling those fists up, they get a little tentative, a little nervous. And even if they are hitting with you and you're in here and we're banging around, they don't like getting hit. They'll go head down and grab you. This is just natural instinct. That's probably what a lot of people will do. When you're in the inside and you're looking at the self-defense moves, if their head's up tall, eye to eye sort of, remember we talked about that earlier, you get eye to eye. I'm in here, he's pushing me back. I want to pull my hands in like this, much like the tip of a bullet. And as he approaches, I'm going to spread my elbows just before I reach up and I grab me a handful of eyes and ears and nose and throat. Okay, but in this case, my first move is he's coming in, we're in here, we're battling. He comes in, I'm going to hit him on the bottom of the chin. I'm actually going to physically hit him, spin him like that, drop him straight into a finishing chokehold. It's real simple. Real simple. Okay, once again, we're in here like this, we're battling and stuff. He comes in, push the head as he's coming. The body will follow. He continues to rotate inside, and they fall straight into this chokehold. If they have problems like this, just knee them, bump them with your knees, pull them off balance. And if you start falling down with them, like he's leaning backwards, use your chest to finish the hold with. Just lean into them, okay, as you take them down. Real simple stuff. The other stuff is when you're starting in here like this. Now, take a break, not a break, but just a moment to tell you, when you're going for the throat, if you can act like you're putting your hand around the pistol grip of a gun and you're going to shoot that gun, that's the way that you want to hit that throat. So if we're in here like this, and he starts his approach, I'm going to go straight in here like this. I'm going to grab him and trach him. You're going to put your fingers and close them around the back of his windpipe. That fight's over. Okay, plus your initial setup's going to be pretty hard. Same thing, you sit in here like this when they start their approach. You shoot inside and go straight into their eyes, or you can come in here and hit the sides of their jaws, rip and tear their ears, go into the eyes with your thumbs, or up in through the nose or through the ears. All these are very effective techniques. When the guy starts, he speeds up, he's rushing, he's coming at me. When you get in here to this neck, you're good to go. You get into these eyes, you're good to go. There ain't nobody going to hurt you anymore. You'll see a lot of this. You can reach straight up, go into the eyes, drop down, boom, headbutt, wham, knee, wow, right back into a front headlock, and then back them into some furniture. This is a real good technique. Sometimes if you got 2 or 3 assailants, you're going to literally reach up and just spin them around and then pull them into these particular choke holds that we're looking at. Now, when you get this hole, what I want you to do is get as much of your arm around the neck as you can and under their chin. So we got the air and the blood. And pull your head in so they don't headbutt. When you grab your bicep, and don't go back here to the sleeper hold. You can use that. It works good, just pressure against the back of their head. What I like to do is get here and take this hand by my ear, and I just tighten up my chest, breathe in, and just raise like this. And they'll usually pass out within 4, 5, 6 seconds, right? They go straight on out. So we could be in here like this fighting or wrestling, or him starting a problem. All I want to do is just clip him and move him just like that. Boom, done. All right? And a big guy, Remo, let me borrow you for a second. Have a seat there. You stay right here. Sometimes these big guys, you get in a situation like that, is when they start spinning, like Remo does a little boxing, he'll immediately let that chin drop. Plus his neck is as big as my leg, so it's hard to get your hand into that chin. Like they'll block like this, or they'll throw a hand up to get in. So when I get one like this, it's real big. What I like to do, if I missed in here, this is where I go back into my crank, right down along below the ear and the brachial plexus. I'll sit right in here. I don't have a choke on him, but I am cutting off the blood to his head. I get into the nerves and I crank like this, and I'm pulling right into my hips again, or my chest. And just once again, you'll see me backing up. I think it's really essential if we're in here. We want to turn people, move them, whatever we do want to take them off balance and back them up. And if you got the head turned, just continue to turn it. Put as much pain and pressure without actually breaking the neck as you can. And you'll see that these situations will calm down extremely fast. You'll win fights just like that. In close quarters, you get guys that will walk up and they'll jump right in your face arguing with you. You'll be right in here. Some of the things that we didn't really cover in detail. From right here, you can use your fingers to the throat, fingers to the bottom of the chin. You can use palm heels to the chin. You can reach up and trach them by grabbing a windpipe. You can come off the strong side or the back side and go straight into their eyes, pull them down, and work a lot of headbutts in situations like this. When you headbutt, you want to go into the face, not head to head, or twist, turn the head, and hit them right in the temple area. This is probably my favorite place to hit them, either there or in the nose. One of your best punches, if we remember when we were punching, I said only one punch you'll throw that your feet don't twist and turn, and that's a front punch or a boxer's jab. Your elbows and your fist, you can throw from right in here this close. You can physically, if you can lay your hand on a person's chest, you can just keep your thumb rotated out and hit them with an uppercut by simply twist turning that foot and driving up into their chin. You don't want that hand to go too far, but if we're in here like that and I want him to back up, I can say, hey, back up. But if I take one of those hands and lay it in this way, then you can fire that uppercut. And I'll tell you what, this is going to hit him right in that jaw, and it's going to knock him down. A lot of people will knock out. There's some real tough guys out there, so you probably want to follow this up. But when you're here and you give a little push, their weight rocks back on their heels. If you can turn that hand on their chest, no matter where you're standing, you can still fire that uppercut right into their chin. And if that uppercut misses, then you've got an elbow that can go right into that chin. Normally, if you have the chin that high, you might want to follow up with another slash and elbow over top. So a good technique inside, guy comes up, you're like, hey, back off a little bit. Boom, come up the stairs, back over top, and then maybe bump them with a knee if they're still there, but most likely they're going to be heading over some furniture. Also, we have, where we come in, we'll penetrate, attack the face, step on the foot, okay? Bring your foot up there. Okay, you may want to come in, step on the foot, go into the eyes once again. And once you're here, you just want to give a good, solid, hard push. That's going to take them down, may have a little collateral damage in their eyes. And if you stay on that foot, it's probably going to break their foot when they hit the ground. At least stretch out all the ligaments and tendons.
If you haven't signed up for our free monthly product giveaways, you should do that right away. It'll cost you nothing, but every month you have a shot at getting an awesome free product. Get to the link in the description. I'll see you over there.
Thanks for watching our video lessons here at TRS Direct. Hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to our channel here on YouTube. Hit the bell icon and we'll send you a notification when there's a new lesson available. Thanks again for watching.